Thanks for joining me. This live is pertaining to an uptick of violence that has affected the Knoxville, Tennessee area. Um, One of the victims I knew of, I know her family, and I'm going to talk about what has transpired in Knoxville the past couple of days. I will be talking about 3 different victims, and this is a very tragic situation, a situation that should have never happened, utter nonsense. A young lady has lost her life over an altercation between one person and another person. Just absolutely craziness. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. Thank you all so much for joining me. I'm going to play my first story. Thank you all so much. Woman dies after Knoxville police find her shot in a car parked in the alley. This is pertaining to Jefasha Mitchell. Thank you.
New tonight, a woman is dead after police found her in a car with a gunshot wound. That's according to the Knoxville Police Department. KPD says officers arrived at an alley on Louise Avenue around 8:30 Saturday night. That's when police found that woman unresponsive inside a car. She was taken to UT Medical Center where she later died. Officers interviewed several people at the scene, but a suspect has not been identified yet.
Okay. That's story number 1 pertaining to a Jefasha L. Mitchell, young lady found in her car on the east side of Knoxville off of Louise Avenue. There's not been a suspect located, a motive. When I get more information, I will bring you that said story. That is victim number 1. The second victim is pertaining to a shooting that took place on the east side, not the east side, but North Knoxville, Northwest Knoxville. And I'll bring you that said information. One moment, please. I'm going to go ahead and play that one story, the second story. All this is posted to my community board. Thank you all so much for joining me.
Advertise and promote your business with an all-in-one digital marketing package.
Sorry about that.
Get an instant quote for your website, digital marketing, social.
Well, we are hearing from a dad tonight facing such heartbreak. His son was shot and killed over the weekend.
That shooting happening at Harb's Market on Burnside Street in the Lonsdale neighborhood Friday night. The victim, Erreese King Jr., was found shot inside the store. Police say he was pronounced dead at UT Medical Center.
All weekend, we've been telling you about the search for the man suspected of killing King, Christopher Price, wanted on a warrant for first-degree murder. Continuing coverage tonight, Elizabeth Kubel spoke with King's father, hurting for his own loss and what his community has faced. Elizabeth.
Well, Lori, we met today at the very spot where he lost his son. Visibly emotional, he told me about King Jr. and the violence he wants to see end.
I don't want to be angry. I'm tired of being angry. I hurt too much to keep crying. It physically breaks me down. I hurt so much.
You can tell this is a father in pain. Erreese King says he feels empty after losing his son, his junior, on Friday night. The 33-year-old was shot while inside Harb's Market.
I don't know what drew him here, what got him here, how they know he was here. It's a lot of unanswered questions right now.
Today, King tied a blue balloon near the scene of the crime.
Oh, little Bookie!
Family and community members released several of them over the weekend.
It's like I expect him to be here. I still feel his presence.
Heartbroken, King told me it is his mission to end the violence.
Not just this violence, just violence, period. You know, we can be more constructive with our resources, our energy. I just want God to lay his hands on my city. And I want my people to be accessible to allow God to use them in a manner that is beneficial for these kids. Because this is worse than crazy. This is inhumane.
And just 3 days now after his son was killed, he is reminding parents how fragile life can be.
Love your kids. You know when last time you see them again.
And I want to let you know, too, that we have seen the surveillance video that captured the shooting inside Harb's Market. It is far too graphic to show to you. I did ask King if he had any idea why his son was seemingly targeted and shot multiple times. He told me he didn't, but he described it to me as too brutal. Boom.
All right, everybody. That's victim number 2, Erreese King, 33 years of age. That was his father speaking, pertaining to his son. As you hear, a video has been seen by the news, and sorry about that, everybody. But he doesn't know the motive. So the news has seen the video. I don't know if the father has seen the video. He doesn't know of a motive. But the man who has shot him is no longer alive. He has killed himself. And let me say, allegedly, the video has gone viral. Now, one person says it looks like a video made from the store's own surveillance camera. And possibly someone who filmed it. I don't know, because I don't want to go on record saying either or. I haven't seen the video, but I did talk to someone yesterday that said they had seen the video. So where I have the problem is, if the news won't release the video to the public, then how did the video get out of Mr. King's death? And I'm perturbed because whoever released the video, be it someone who worked in the store, be it someone who was in the store shopping at the time, or the owner, manager of the store, you had no right to release that video out, because I did hear that it was very graphic, the murder of Mr. King, as you heard the news reporters say in this audio here, that it was very brutal. And my understanding is that the person who I'm speaking of now as the suspect, who is no longer living, emptied a clip and was going to reshoot the victim after emptying the clip. This is ridiculous if that allegation is true. And why would you release that video to the public so everybody and their mom and daddy could see a man die in a store? And allegedly it's over a female. That's what the street is saying. Do not know if that's true or not. And no disrespect to the family. But the point is, just like all these stories, none of them make any sense, and they're always over something petty. Always over something petty. Thank you all so much for joining me. Let's get to the suspect of this brutal shooting. Murder suspect dead in Knox County after barricading himself inside. This was uploaded a day ago. Thank you all so much for joining me. One second.
Now's the time to invest with the best Honda cars.
Sorry about the commercial.
Best resale value. This means Hondas retain their value.
Well, continuing coverage, a standoff in West Knox County has led to the death of an accused killer. Around 5 last night, the Smoky Mountain Fugitive Task Force was searching for 36-year-old Christopher Price at a home on Sales Way. Price was wanted in connection to a fatal shooting at a convenience store on Friday. We're told when Price noticed the task force outside, he fired a shot at them from inside. That's when Knox County Sheriff's SWAT team, patrol, and negotiators were called in, and that's when neighbors realized what was going on.
I didn't know anything was happening, and I went to take my trash out, and the marshals just were like, get in the house, get in the house. And so I went back inside, and I was just watching from the bedroom there.
And I went down the street, and they were like, no, you can't come down here, you can't come down here.
Jones Santa Cruz started recording with his phone camera. He said shortly after that, he saw a law enforcement drone was sent inside the house, and that's when police found the suspect.
Whenever we were able to get the drone inside, that's whenever we were able to locate the suspect, and it was a self-inflicted gunshot wound. I think everybody did a great job, that including KPD, U.S. Marshals. All of us work together, and that's what it's about, making sure that we get the proper information and making sure that we all do what we need to do to make sure that we're all safe.
Now, again, Price was accused of shooting a man at Harb's Market on Burnside Street. That is where police found 33-year-old Erreese King Jr. shot several times. Here are some photos that family members shared with us. So his dad mourned the loss and also shared his mission to stop the violence.
Well, if I can't stop this cycle, it's going to tear them apart. They'll never heal. They'll never be full men. There'll always be something that'll hold them short. I gotta break that because I want better for them. Every child I come across, I want better for them.
Again, police say Price died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound after a standoff with police last night.
All right, everybody. That's story number 2. I'd like to give my condolences to Erreese and his family and the community. This is a tragedy. My prayers with Miss Jefasha Mitchell's family, the woman found deceased in a car that was parked in an alley on the east side of Knoxville. They don't have any information pertaining to her death. Prayers to her family, prayers to Erreese's family. And then I want to send my condolences out to the Duff family. This is story number 3. Pertaining to Tyandra Duff. Oh, mercy. What a weekend. Thank y'all for joining me. If you'd like to donate to the channel, The Dream of Everyday Shenanigans, $, McAngie, 129 Cash App. All super chats and stickers are welcome during the live. Thank you all so much for joining me. This is my 3rd story, and this story is very personal to me. Mercy.
Check this out. I'm going to show you how I afforded this car.
1 second, guys.
Okay, you ready? All right, 100.
An Knoxville woman faces murder charges tonight after a shooting victim died in the hospital last night. According to Knoxville police, a woman drove herself to UT Medical Center at around 8 last night and admitted herself with gunshot wounds. She died while being treated by hospital staff. Knoxville police identified this woman, Kaisha Dalton, as a suspect. They believe she shot at the victim's car after a fight. Dalton was charged with 2nd-degree murder. Police continue their investigation into what led to this incident.
All right. That's the sad information pertaining to Tyandra Duff. This woman, Ms. Dalton, shot her after an alleged altercation in Northwest Knoxville. Sorry about that.
The ABC 15 investigator. So Valley.
Cut this off. Sorry about that, you guys. I'm a little janky today because I'm rushing, trying to get out so I can later go be with the family of Miss Tianja. Once again, my condolences to the Mitchell family, Erreese King's family, and the Duff family. Story number 3. Tianja. This is just crazy to me. Has 5 children. 5 children have been left behind now to be taken care of by family. And this 21-year-old person, a heathen that decided to shoot at her car over an altercation between a male. Allegedly, they had been arguing all day, allegations of fighting, arguing, whatever. Something about a cell phone was involved. He took a phone or something. Don't know if all that is true or not. But in the end, once again, it doesn't matter the circumstances. It's pettiness, utter pettiness. A woman has lost her life. The mother of 5 children is now gone because of somebody arguing with somebody else. And this thing decides to shoot at her car. And now she's no longer alive. 3 people gone in just a couple of days from the weekend, Friday up until Monday. That's too many people in a small town. And 9 times out of 10, all 3 victims Their deaths are due to utter nonsense and pettiness. I'm going to give you a brief synopsis of this, the death of Miss Duff. One moment. Thank you all so much for joining me. Oh, Lordy. Say, no rest for the weary. Knox News is the source. Knoxville woman charged with second-degree murder in Monday night shooting death. Knoxville police arrested 21-year-old Keisha Dalton, charged her with second-degree murder in the shooting death of another woman Monday night. At about 8:10 p.m., officers responded to the UT Medical Center to investigate. After the gunshot victim was brought to the emergency room, a police spokesperson said the victim, identified as Tyandra Duff, 35, of Knoxville, succumbed to her injuries while being treated by hospital staff. Dalton was identified as the possible suspect in the course of the investigation, and officers detained her at her home in the 1400 block of Wallace Street. It has been determined that Dalton shot at Duff's vehicle in the 1400 block of Jerome Avenue in the Beaumont neighborhood following an altercation, the spokesperson said. Dalton has been booked into the Roger D. Wilson detention facility and faces up to 60 years in prison if convicted. A 21-year-old woman has murdered a 35-year-old woman, a mother of 5 children. So I'm going to say this to Ms. Dalton. How do you feel now that whatever reason you pulled out that gun to shoot at the male, for whatever reason, whatever you think he did to you, said to you out of the way, whatever was going on between you and he on that fateful day, was it worth it? You're now in the county jail. And you're going to sit there till trial unless they give you a bond and you or someone is able to bond you out. And I pray that you don't get bonded out, because you need to sit there day for day and own what you've done. And I hope for your sake that you have remorse and that you repent and ask God to forgive you for what you've done. Now, that's not going to bring Tianja back. That's not going to make her family feel any better, or the community or her friends and family or her children. Because right now they're grieving. And I don't think you know what you've done. Because you see, I got to hear her friends hollering and screaming yesterday at the grandmother's house. And near the end of the evening, I got to hear one of her children wail for their mother. You see, you won't get to hear that unless they allow the children in court at your trial. And they get to speak to you directly about what you did to their mother, the family member. But I don't think you know what you've done. I pray that you find your way to comprehend that you stole a life over something petty that you can't take back. You can't go back. It's too late now. But to hear a child wail for her mother, there is no way I can explain it. Because hearing it, seeing it, is disturbing to the spirit. To see a child bolted over crying for their mother. And Ms. Dalton, let me explain this to you thoroughly so you can understand, because I'm sure somebody will tell you about the video. The 3-year-old ran around playing yesterday because he has no idea what's going on. Lucky for him. But his older siblings know what's going on. They know that they've lost their mother. And I watched that baby play yesterday, sick to my stomach, realizing he has no idea why all these people are here at this house. He has no idea what's going to transpire in the next couple of days. He has no idea that he's not going to see his mommy at the end of the evening. He's not going to hear her voice, smell her, touch her, see her. You stole that from him. You took that from him and his siblings and the family. So I hope that while you're in the county jail, you will come to understand what you have done. Because you weren't around yesterday to see people crying and hollering for Tianja. Do you understand what I'm saying? And you may never come to grips because you're mad at a male. Now imagine how he must be feeling right now. That all this is because of him. Petty argument, petty disagreements. And maybe to you it wasn't petty at the time because we've all been angry, upset, mad, wanted to lash out at people. But we have to check ourselves not to resort to violence. Go get a weapon. I'm curious to know if you brought the weapon there. Why were you there? Were you called there, summons there? Or you found him there? In the end, I guess it won't matter because 5 children don't have a mother now. Somebody doesn't have a daughter now. A father doesn't have his daughter. A mother doesn't have her daughter. Brothers and sisters don't have their sister. So on and so forth. And you make sure of that. See, this is the thing about life, is that you can't go back. And as I said, we're all human, we're all flawed, we all make mistakes. But you have to think before you act. We have all been angry, disgusted, but we have to think before acting. And now you're 21 years of age. They say you've graduated from college. And the first thing I'm thinking to myself, how did you get in this position to be leaving a school with a degree, and this is what you would transition into? Now a murderer. So you think about the years you've invested in school to better yourself, to educate yourself, but you couldn't use that same mindset to say, okay, things are not working out with this fella, whatever the hell was going on, I'm going to walk away. I'm going to go cool off. And whether your intended victim was the male, it doesn't matter. You knew what was going on and you saw where he was going and what he was getting into. Whether it was his car, somebody else's car, whoever, you knew better. So it doesn't matter whose car it was. You had to know somebody in the car would get hurt, whether you intended it to be for the guy or not. Hell, how do I know? You didn't give a damn. Obviously, who the hell you shot? We're going to call a spade a spade. Because I've seen that on the police department's Facebook page. Well, Tianja wasn't the intended victim. It doesn't matter. It was her car, allegedly. So this thing saw who was in the car, who was driving. I believe there was another person in the car as well. So you didn't care. So really, in the end, it doesn't matter who the bullet was intended for. Somebody didn't go home Monday night. That's the point. And her name is Tyandra Duff. Let me make that clear. She has a name. Tyandra Duff is her name. And she will not be going home ever again. She will not be seeing her children ever again. And the children will never see their mother ever again. And the Duff and extended family, Patterson family, will never see their child or loved one again because you decided to pull out a gun and handle some idiotic business that you now can't take back. And I hope while you're in that jail, you come to terms with what you have done. And as I said, for your salvation, I hope you have remorse for what you've done. Because we can look at your mugshot and see you seem like you're stunned yourself that you've been arrested. Like, oh boy, what have I done? You've done the worst. You can't take it back. Prayers for Knoxville, Tennessee, because this was a bloody weekend into the new week of a woman found dead inside of a car, no suspects, no information. Jefasha Mitchell, who is now deceased. I do believe she has a child. I was looking at Facebook, family members posting to Facebook about this woman and what someone did to her. Somebody left a mother behind. I mean, a child behind, excuse me. A child behind without a mother, excuse me. But people don't care about that. One second. I'm going to try to find something. A post. This is just horrible. This weekend has been nothing but a bloodbath. And it's just ridiculous that people are just out here shooting and killing people and just murdering them for whatever reason. And in their minds, obviously they think what they've done is appropriate. But in the end, it's not. This is a woman found dead in the car. Assuming that is her child. Now a child is without a mother. The first victim I discussed in my video. Someone killed this woman for some reason, left her to die in an alley. Why did you kill this lady? What did she do to you, whoever you are? Killed a young woman and left behind a child. You all are something else out here. I'm going to read you a post from Miss Mitchell's Facebook page dated October 1st, 2021. 2300 block of Linden is where I grew up. Last place I seen a lot of my family. That was a time when we valued each other. I ride down past my granny's old house all the time, and it's filled with nothing but sweet memories. We might have not had the most, but we had just enough. I remember those trips every 2 weeks to Woodbine to Miss Sandy Johnson so my granny could get her hair done. Watching Sandy is what grew my passion for doing hair. I also remember going down to the Hall of Fame with my granddaddy, Herman Martin. Many knew him by Sauce, my uncle Dana, and my uncle Dodie. They used to call me Sauce's baby. They knew me all the way from the Walgreens down to the Kroger's and Shoney's on Asheville Highway. I love the East Side. It's where I come from. But what happened to the unity of families, friends, the community? We are all divided amongst ourselves. Bring back unity in the Black community. This is from Jefasha's Lachey Mitchell's Facebook page, October 1st, 2021. Now Jefasha's gone. See, you don't know the hour you're going to leave here. And I was talking to one of Tianja's relatives, her aunt, Kim, yesterday, and I said, you know, you wonder what a person was thinking, what they were doing before death, how they were feeling, what they were going through. And she told me about her brother calling her before his death years ago at about 4 or 5 in the morning. And I said, well, did he usually do that? And she said, no, he never called me late in the morning. She says, I kind of think he sensed he was going to pass away. And perhaps maybe he did. But you think about this when a person has died, especially a violent death. It's a difference if a person is sickly. They are dying of cancer or they have, some health problems and they're not expected to live. 9 times out of 10, that person knows his or her fate is coming soon. But to be murdered, sitting in a car, going to a car, or walking out your door, or going into a grocery store, you're not thinking that day you're going in there to buy ice cream or cake, or sitting talking to a friend, somebody's going to pull out a gun and shoot you. Why would you be thinking that? Why would you be thinking that? You're thinking about whatever you're doing at that moment. Talking, laughing, sharing a joke, or sitting around listening to somebody going on and on about absolutely nothing, and then they take out a gun and shoot at your car. And now you're running to the hospital trying to save your life. This is from someone posting about Miss Mitchell, who was found dead in the car in the alley. She says, I do apologize to those. This might be too much for some people due to so many pictures and the situation right now, but this needs to be brought to attention. Imagine being #little Khaleesi that's been with her mother, Vera Faye, Jefasha, Lachey Mitchell, Bonnie Parker, since day one, side by side, literally, always there, to literally a blink of an eye disappeared. No voice of her mama, to no physical, her no understanding anything, just nothing but waiting on her mama to come through the door. That will never happen again. Do you think you can imagine that baby's pain? We as adults have to carry Fasha on and be strong and positive for this baby. Keep her happy no matter what this baby needs, so much attention and love and comfort. And to stay distracted from her mama's absence. One day she will understand, but she will never know why she needs so much love, that she knows her mama was loved, because we will do the same for her, plus some. Please don't bring that negativity vibe around this baby. God, please wrap your arms around this precious soul. We as family and friends have to carry Fasha's legacy on. She adored her daughter. Fasha was always a happy, loving soul person. Khaleesi just made her whole life change, keep her through everything she thought she couldn't never get throughout with the biggest, prettiest smile, because she now has a reason. Please, that's what she always done when it came to her child. If you didn't get to talk, see, or be around or do something with Fasha, do it with her daughter, what she would do. I love so many. Thank you all for the love, support, and prayers. Without you all, it would be even hard for Fasha's loved ones to get by because she most definitely had the biggest heart, made the biggest impact in so many people's lives, and most definitely will be missed and would do the same. If you really knew Fasha, then you know. When she was pregnant, with the baby, now without a mom. And I also will show you pictures, of Tyandra Duff, who is now no longer with us. I want to thank you all for following the content. Appreciate it so kindly. Hold on one second. I'm trying to pull up everything. Thank you all so much. 33 listening. It's been a rough day. This is a picture of Tyandra Duff, who is no longer with us. "35 years old. Gone." Her big sister, her mom in the middle, and she's to my right, which will possibly be to your left. Sorry about that. That's her mom and sister. One more picture. Miss Dalton, that's what you stole Monday night. That's what you stole. I want to thank you all for joining me. When I get more information pertaining to the stories, as you know, the story of Erreese King, 33, who was murdered at the supermarket, Northwest Knoxville, Lonsdale community. His killer killed himself, barricaded himself inside a house in West Knoxville, and he took his own life. The lady, Miss Jefasha Mitchell, found deceased inside of a car in an alley off of Louise Avenue in East Knoxville. There's no new information pertaining to the shooter of her murder. But when I get an update, I will bring you that information. And the murder of Tyandra Duff, the young lady's picture I just showed you, her killer is now incarcerated in the county jail in a detention center in Knox County. 21 years of age. Allegedly just graduated from college, is now in a county jail for killing a 35-year-old woman who left behind 5 children. And trust me, an array of family members and friends. God rest the souls of these people I've mentioned in this live. And Tianja, know that your family is going to do everything they can to take care of your babies. Your children are never going to have to want for anything, ever, because there is a lot of love in this Duff family, Patterson family, extended friends. They're going to make sure your children have everything. You rest easy, sweetheart. Thank you all for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans.